Yo, what's up? What's happening, people? Hope you guys and girls are having a sick ass Wednesday. I almost forgot what day it was. But it's kind of weird. Today's kind of weird. We're gonna get into that a little bit later, but we're gonna talk about this topic. It's a question that, believe it or not, I actually get asked a lot in the change rooms, especially in the change rooms. And you know who you are, and I'm not knocking you guys, but I'm just keeping it a stack with you guys. Um, but this is a real question, and I'm not poking any fun or like making jokes to people that are taking this seriously, that really want to know whether it's worth taking or not. And let me just explain this real quickly. I've never taken PEDs or steroids, performance enhancing drugs, anything of that sort, and I probably will never. And I'm going to basically explain myself as to why I haven't and why I'm not going to. And then I'm also going to let you guys and girls know why it's probably not good for you to even consider yourself, right? And like it's almost like a no-brainer. Like it's almost like a no-brainer for us to think, oh well, like it's bad for you. I'm not going to do anything that's bad for me, so whatever. But believe me, people would do anything to get to wherever they want to go when it comes to their body, their physique. All right. So without wasting any time, I'm going to pin the convo chat over here on Instagram, and then we will be rolling, and I'll be testing out the audio for my future podcast. If you were on yesterday's live stream, you know what's good. So got the mic set up, and we're going to, run through that, get the recording done, and I'm going to do some editing practice because, as I promised, you guys and girls will be getting a podcast for me, podcast series very soon. All right. So let me just get this all rolling up on my side over here, and then we are gonna join or dive into this full steam in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So let's go. What's up? What's happening, people? You are joining the test run of my podcast, and I still don't have an intro that I'm comfortable with or a name. So let's get used to it. Let's rock with this for now. All right, so let's talk about it, guys and girls. Let's break it down. Should you ever take PEDs? This is something that you should ever do. And for those of you guys and girls that don't know what PEDs stand for, or whatever the acronym is, it stands for performance enhancing drugs. All right, so performance enhancing drugs like steroids, like diuretics, like anything that can drastically increase your performance that isn't a legal substance and is banned by the WADA board. And if you don't know what the WADA board is, it's pretty much the World Drug Administration. They test for all competitions and competitors at the pro level, and I'm pretty sure even sometimes in the amateur levels as well, right? So the question is this, right? So if you ask me that question, my question comes back to you, and my question is, do you actually view yourself as someone that would one day become a professional athlete, right? And that's one thing you have to seriously take into consideration. Like you have to take into consideration, like, okay, do you want to be a professional athlete? And do you want to just be like a professional athlete, or do you want to be the best of the best? That's typically what these guys and girls are thinking about when they rationalize whether or not they should or shouldn't take it. And I'm not telling you guys you should or should not take it. I'm not your doctor. I'm not your dad. I'm not your mom. And I love and respect you guys for showing up, but I quite frankly don't give a shit because we're all individuals and you can do whatever you want. I won't judge you. So when I say I don't give a shit, it's not me like, no, I don't care, go die. It's like, nah, it's like, do what you want to do. But make sure that you have your information straight and that you know why you're doing what you're doing. Um, and have a solid reason. Don't just like follow some fucking bandwagon and like hop on some shit and fuck your life up or shorten it potentially, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, all for the glory of gains. Okay, so let's talk about it. The number one reason why I would consider taking it is my love for bodybuilding. Okay, like I really love bodybuilding. It's not funny. Like I wake up, I literally just think about, okay, how many meals do I need to eat in order to get X amount of protein and carbs? What day is it at the gym? What am I going to wear at the gym? How many, sets and whatever. Like I live for bodybuilding. That's like no surprise. And if you guys are new to my channel on YouTube, if you're new to my page on Insta, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, you should know this now. And I'm explaining it. I love bodybuilding. And for the love of bodybuilding, I do understand that unfortunately, in order to be really successful, it almost comes hand in hand with PEDs, and it sucks and it's unfortunate. And many people have died and are currently dying from it. But it is the name of the game, unless you aspire to compete naturally. But then the question comes up: it's like, do you want to be the best natural bodybuilder or the best bodybuilder in the world? because they're two different things, and they're recognized as two different things, right? So when I think of that, it's like, oh fuck. And let me just take a quick pause. I really do appreciate the love that I'm getting on TikTok. We're at 300 plus likes there. I see y'all. I love y'all. And Instagram as well. So I just want to bring it to your guys and girls' attention, yo. It's like I love this sport so much, but not more than my life. And if it means that I get to compete for the rest of my life and live a bodybuilding lifestyle for the rest of my life, I'll do it without steroids. I'll do it without PEDs, simply because I can do it for my like the rest of my life and a longer time period than if I were to take PEDs and cut my life short. Right. So the side effects are nothing to play with. Especially, like, I found, like, and I still to this day find people, young guys, fuck, even some young girls that, for the sake of their sport or for whatever reason, they decide, "You know what? I'm gonna take PEDs and, just go full blast," right? And they do that. And they can be like, I've seen some young people do it, like, some 16, 15, 17-year-olds, but not even, like, completely done with their puberty, just start taking it and really fuck themselves up. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'm Canada. For those of you guys and girls that think Canadians are like all this, people do it everywhere. You go anywhere in the world, like there are young kids literally like, oh, I want to be like this massive bodybuilder. So I'm going to take the exact same cycle that I think they took because let's face it, whatever you're reading on those forums is not fucking real. So on and so forth. Eat what they ate and whatever. And it's because of their passion and their love for the sport, but it cuts your life short and it's not fucking worth it. And they'll tell you themselves if they're alive still, whichever ones are alive, will tell you it's not worth it. Everybody that's taken PEDs will tell you it's not worth it. I've never taken them because I've listened to those guys. It's not worth it. You will be able to compete for a shorter period of time. You won't be able to fully live out your entire career as a bodybuilder or as an athlete due to the fact that you are speeding up your life, like you're shortening it. Okay. And the side effects are only going to shorten it even more, right? So you don't want to shorten your life for a sport that you love. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you where to, where to sort of like put your energy when it comes to your level of passion for your sport. But I can tell you this, I love bodybuilding so fucking much. Like, I love it almost as much as life, but I don't love it more than life. And if it means that I'm going to be able to compete for the rest of my life until I'm stinking old and wearing diapers, then so be it, because I want to. I don't want to only compete until I'm 40 and drop dead. That's just not, that's just not what it's about. And homie Rico says, what about clenbuterol? Clenbuterol is not a steroid; it's a diuretic, and diuretics are still bad. Matter of fact, most people die on diuretics. Steroids don't often kill people. Typically, insulin would, and if not insulin, then it's some form of diuretic whenever these athletes are like getting really lean. And I appreciate the fact that you asked that question because not a lot of people know the difference between like diuretics and anabolics, like steroids and things like that. And you don't really have to. You just need to know enough to know that anything exogenous that you're putting in your body for the sake of increasing your performance enhancing drugs, hence the term PEDs, is not worth it. It's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? And like let's move forward. Like I know that in my heart of hearts, I want to be an IFBB pro. That's just what the fuck I want to do. Okay. And IFBB stands for International Federation of Bodybuilding. If you're new to this channel, if you're new to this page, but I want to talk to you guys and girls a little bit about my opportunity, the opportunity that has come in the late days of now, like where you can turn pro as a natural bodybuilder. And that's a matter of fact what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be aiming for that in about 2 months from now, on the 27th of November. So if you're around, check out my Instagram page, check out my YouTube page. I will be dropping some sick content, letting you guys know what I'm doing to get on stage and to get really ripped and compete and all that good stuff. But isn't it ironic that I could turn pro as a natural bodybuilder only to enter the natural leagues and just get smoked left, right, and center because I'm natural and everybody else is like taking something? It sucks. There is actually to this date, there is only one pro show that is a pro qualifier and a natural IFBB show called the Ben Weider Classic, and that's the one and only show every single year that you get to compete at as a natural bodybuilder. With we'll say fair chances. And I'm not complaining. Personally, I don't give a fuck. I love to watch bodybuilding in its height, in its glory, and in its depths as well. Like I've been a fan of bodybuilding. You can talk to me about bodybuilding from the fucking 30s, 40s, all the way up till now in the 2020s. And I just love everything. Like I don't like. I loved watching Ronnie Coleman go over there on the stage and just kill it. Phil Heath just dominate. Dorian Yates just dominate. But even Dorian Yates said it. And shout out to my boy Nas who told me because he spoke to Dorian Yates personally. He says it taking PEDs, specifically diuretics, during peak week is what made Dorian Yates turned off from the sport. He won 6 titles in a row. Granted, he had his injuries, but because of the load of diuretics and anabolics that he had to push PEDs, it took away the love for bodybuilding for him because it was shortening his life. And now he's healthy as fuck, healthy as ever, mentally and physically, right? And he encourages people not to do it for obvious reasons, right? But again, I understand like a lot of people want to change their bodies immediately. And for the guys that ask, backstage, Matt, is it worth taking steroids to, look like you? I'm like, dude, I haven't even taken steroids. I've literally put in the grind for like 10 years, maybe for bodybuilding 4 or 5 years, but I've been an athlete for almost like 11, 12 years and working hard, eating right. And it does sound like a lot of time, like a decade, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, I want it now. Like, I get it. I 100% get that. But at the same time, you can't just like rock with that. Like, you can't just like get it. Anything, just to put it out into simple terms, anything that you get quick isn't worth it. And I know you know what I'm talking about. So if you go from fat Lardo to like super shredded Superman in a year and you get it that quick, believe me, the moment you put down that needle or put down those supplements, is the moment that your gains leave you. You don't have the discipline to maintain it. You don't have the mental strength to be accurate with whatever it is that you're doing to keep your body at that stage. It's just not worth it. You don't deserve what you have because you literally bought it in a bottle, right? And that's for the people that aren't athletes. That's for the people that are just recreationally taking it, that just don't have any bodybuilding desires or future plans to be a bodybuilder. It's like not worth it. Like you're cutting your life short for what? Because you want to look a certain way? I can't tell you, but I'm just suggesting that it's not worth it, right? And I'm gonna read some of the comments over here real quick from my boy Rico, and then I'm gonna read some. I see my boy Dre drop some down there as well, and yeah, let's read some of that. Let's read. Okay, so it says you got a meal plan to bulk and uh sites. What are sites are best for calculating calories? So he also asks, any supplements to help a girl gain weight, ones that work? Dude, I'm gonna answer both those questions in one. So you got it right, like calories in versus calories out. That's how you either grow or that's how you either cut weight. But I'm gonna say this much: there is no supplement, let alone let's take another level up. There is no PED that's going to change the way that you look if you do not have adequate nutrition knowledge and a discipline when it comes to training in the gym, right? So I could definitely say for your girl or for the girl to take mass gainers, right? Mutant mass, whatever, any mass gainer. And it will work if she takes the full serving every single day alongside her meals. She will grow. But how much will she grow? You can grow fat and water whenever you grow. You get muscle, you get fat, you get water. We know that, right? But the amount of each is dictated by how much protein, carbs, and fats you're eating, the amount of cardio you're doing, the level of intensity that you're training at, and so many other variables. It's not just about gaining weight. You want to gain as much lean muscle as possible so that, you don't have to worry about cutting off a lot of fat and water. Right. I'm also going to scroll up over here. Uh, so Amrita said something. Amrita said, if you take it consistently, and get proper blood work done, can minimize the effects, risk of death, and bad side effects. Absolutely, that's pretty much how it's encouraged to be taken today. Like if you are taking PEDs, they recommend that you get your blood work done on a consistent basis, donate blood on a consistent basis, monitor many other health things as well, for on a consistent basis to minimize the risks of extreme side effects and to minimize the risk of death. But again, you are minimizing it. You don't eradicate the risk of death. You don't eradicate the risk of bad side effects, like real bad side effects. It's inevitable when you take something exogenous. It's just inevitable. Taking it in the smallest doses would be smartest. Taking the least amount of the least kinds of the least potent would be the smartest. With doing your blood work and all this other type of work for your physique would be the smartest approach. Having a doctor administer it to you would be the smartest approach, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still risky, still shortens your life in one shape, way, or form. and has potentially bad side effects. You can only mitigate it and minimize it. So I do love the fact that you brought that up. Like, even if you take the best fucking approach, which you should if you want to do it, like, you shouldn't just wing it because you're playing with your life. If you're gonna do it the right way. But I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just saying like what my experience, and like most of you guys and girls, and I'm not trying to sound like egotistical here, but most people, like most people's genetics, even if they do take a shit ton of PEDs and eat everything they need to eat and train their ass off, won't look half as good as some of the best natural bodybuilders that I've seen, me included. It's just fucked up. Steroids don't make the player in any game. And that's the unfortunate truth because I've seen a lot of kids pound that shit, shorten their lives, ruin themselves. Like some of these kids are like fucking 18 years old, you can't get a hard on. 18 years old, riddled with full body acne, and like 18 years old and just hormones out the walls, just fucked because they've been abusing it. They don't know what they're doing and they're playing with their life. They're winging it. So if you're gonna do it the right way, and of course wait for the right time. And like I'm probably never gonna do it, and I say probably because I know that once I turn pro, my mind is gonna be changed, and I want because I'm extremely competitive, right? But I would never. I'm 23 now. I wouldn't even consider doing it in my 20s if I were to ever do it, right? So like that's just some food for thought. Okay. My boy Dre Day says, I just love being in the gym. That's how we met. It is what it is. No, absolutely, bro. Like, and it's different for you because you're not just like, first of all, you look the part. And I'm not saying that to pump your tires or anything, but you look the part. I can look at you, and if I was an absolute 100% rookie noob and I didn't know shit about bodybuilding, I would call you a bodybuilder off rip, right? And your lineage too. You have an uncle that is literally an IFBB pro bodybuilder from the 90s. And I'm not sure, but we've had our conversations, and you know that I know that you know what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to air it out here because it's private. But your intentions are more than just a regular gym goer, and I think we both know that on an intrinsic level. So even if it was you just being in the gym and just doing what you love, so be it. Okay, I'm not here to tell you you should or you shouldn't do something, but I'm here to tell you that like this thing is probably not something you should, you know, just based off of my experience, you should consider. All right, Willie, what's up? I see you, bro. Remain humble 416 says, "Is there a way to get peeled for a show without diuretics?" Fucking yes, I've done it for every single show that I've ever competed at, bro. I don't take PEDs, and I probably never will. Keyword probably, because I don't know how I'm going to think 10 years from now. But where I stand mentally, it's like it would take a world of movements, and you got to move a mountain to convince me to do it. Like for me to myself, because no one can convince me to do it, right? So you say, is there a way to get peeled for a show without diuretics? It shows me that you, and I love you, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming up over here and like not being a sitting duck, letting people know your question, because I'm sure a lot of people have that question. But I'm going to tell you this personally, bro. You don't know enough to get ready for a show if you can't do it without diuretics. Okay, so holla at a coach, get your knowledge up, do your research, whatever it takes, do whatever you have to do to get your knowledge up and then apply it, bro. So that's for Remain Humble 416. Because I know you're serious about it, but like you don't need diuretics, and you should never rely on like a compound to give you what you should be able to earn if you were that level of an athlete, right? So just take that into consideration here. Rico says, how many days per week, do you do weightlifting? What's the best for growth? Like, working out 7 days a week. Will that affect gains? So you got a whole ton of questions, and I fucking appreciate it, Rico. Like, I really do. I see you're here, and you're like, you're gaining knowledge, like, and you're really getting value from this. So I'm grateful for that. But your questions are like pretty specific to you, and I can't really just generally give that answer out because again, it's not the same for every human being. So what I want you to do is just shoot me a DM of your questions, and I'm just going to get you up on the ones, and we're going to talk about what would be best for you and if I can actually help you. All right, Rico, let me know if you got that message, bro. Um, Interesting. So my boy Dre Day says, TRT at my age is very common, even to those who didn't work out. It's a sense of well-being, but TRT and pounding sauce is different. Absolutely. And I love the fact that you mentioned TRT. So guys and girls, for those of you that don't know what TRT stands for, it's an acronym for testosterone replacement therapy, there's HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and it's marketed and or branded under like this anti-aging sort of movement, which honestly, I have nothing against. There are people that haven't even lifted that take TRT just to stay healthy. Because for a man, there's a certain amount of testosterone that you need. I forget the exact number in nanograms, to be functioning like a man and healthy, right? To have optimal health, right? And some people have it, conditions where their testosterone dips as they age. I mean, it all dips for all of us men when we age, but for some people, it's like dirt low, and they have to take TRT. Or some people that have abused PEDs in their early years have to take, um, TRT simply because they've abused their systems and their systems won't produce it anymore, right? So it's definitely a real thing, and that's not what I'm talking about because that's literally for your health. That's for the longevity of your life. But he made a really good distinction there, saying there's a difference between pounding sauce and using TRT for your health, right? So yeah, it's important that I really do like the fact that you brought up TRT. But it's way different from pounding sauce and diuretics because sauce itself, if we're going to talk about it, sauce like steroids, like Dianabol, like testosterone, like Primobolan, any of those steroids, they're not the ones really that kill people, or at least immediately. It's typically what I've seen recently is like insulin and diuretics. Those things make people drop dead. And insulin is for diabetics. Like if you're like exogenous insulin. So it's like you're not diabetic and you're taking insulin because you want to get jacked. Like, think about it. Think about it, guys and girls. And I'm not laughing or pointing fun at anyone because there are bodybuilders that I love that are doing this. And I couldn't tell you, like, I love watching this shit. And honestly, it sounds hypocritical, but I kind of almost love watching bodybuilders on PDs more than natural bodybuilders, even though I'm a natural bodybuilder, simply because it's just such an extreme. And you can just see the level of dedication. And these, like, they literally said, put your life on the line. And these guys put their life on the line. Like, how can you not admire that if you're a diehard bodybuilding fan? So it sort of is contradictory, or like we'll say, what's the word now? Hypocritical for me to like it, but I do like it, and I just like it. I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't. Bianca says, "Yeah, steroids can seriously fuck you up, 100%." Amrit says, do PEDs make prep easier?" No, they make prep a lot more difficult, and the reason why is because now you have external elements that are controlling the way that your body operates normally. So let's say like your body would get shredded on this is just random. Say 200 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbs, like 50 grams of fats. You introduce PEDs, and those macros may not work for you. Like you may need a whole lot more carbohydrates because of the rate that you're burning fat. You may need a whole lot more protein because of whatever it is that you're consuming. It's going to alter the way that your body digests food, metabolizes food, and regulates your temperature, burns fat, and it changes everything. You can't do like a natural prep and then do a prep on PEDs and expect to prep the same, eating wise and all that stuff, and get the same result. As soon as you introduce exogenous compounds, hormones, diuretics, like anabolics, androgenics, as soon as you incorporate that and involve that into your protocol, expect a completely different outcome, right? It doesn't make prep easier. I'd say it makes prep more difficult. Okay. And I wouldn't recommend it if you're not, first of all, if you don't even want to like become a top level athlete, I wouldn't recommend it. Just wouldn't. On top of that, if you are looking for something easy, like the easy route, the quick route, your mind isn't ready to prep. Don't prep. It's supposed to be grueling. It's supposed to be hard. It's not healthy. Even as a natural bodybuilder, prepping, and I really do appreciate you, Amrita. I really do appreciate you. And I'm not blasting you or anything, but like, even as a natural, prepping is fucking unhealthy. It's so unhealthy. Like, it's, you're literally losing all the fat and water stores in your body. You're not getting ripped. I'm talking about getting shredded, where your fucking cheekbones start coming out your face. It's not healthy, natural or on PEDs, which is why it can only be sustained for such a short period of time. Prejudgings, finals, and then you're right back up to your refeed. Not immediately, but you start to fill out immediately or right after your show, because it's not healthy to stay at dirt low body fat percentages. It's not. Your hormones will be out of whack. Your body will start producing a whole lot of cortisol. Like it's unhealthy, naturally and with PEDs. So if you cannot do it naturally, as I said earlier to my boy, Remain Humble 416, if you can't do it naturally, do not, and I repeat, do this is the only thing I'm telling you to not do. All right, do not do it with PEDs. You will fuck yourself up, if not kill yourself. All right, that's what I can tell you, Amrita. Don't do that. All right. So Sam says, "Rest in peace to the Mountain Dog." Um, a brain taken away too early from the world cause of uh PEDs. Yeah, Sam. So what's up, bro? First of all, it's been a while. Appreciate you for showing up and tuning in. And yeah, rest in peace, John Meadows. I actually met him twice at the Toronto Pro, or once or twice at the Toronto Pro show in 2019 and 18. And he's such a nice fucking guy. Like I couldn't tell you how long, like how many people were in a line waiting to see Ronnie Coleman. And he was just like answering so many questions for random people. He was at Ronnie's booth just chilling. May he rest in peace, John Meadows. Um, and that's just another example. But he was like on what I would consider like the mature side because he wasn't really competing hard anymore. But what I'd like to talk about is Dallas Mcarver, may he rest in peace, died at barely 25 years old. Massive. He was making waves in the IFBB industry. 2017, 18. He passed away due to not even PEDs, I'll say insulin. At least the rumors said it, right? Like his use for insulin, right? And I'm not going to explain how it all works and things like that, but like when you start taking things outside of your body that your body would produce in order to grow muscle or to enhance your performance, like you're putting yourself at fucking risk. He was like barely 25. I don't even remember. He died so young. He was just a pro for like a year or two, and he was killing it. But then it killed him. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to talk about it today because it's been literally hours, not even like the whole day. But rest in peace, George Peterson. Rest in peace, George Peterson. He was literally 3 days out of the Olympia. The Olympia is happening in 3 days, and he died. He died today. He died hours before me making this podcast. I don't know why he died. I know that he was absolutely shredded, and I feel sorry for him because he's literally like the career goals, as my boy Nas was saying, just to quote him. This guy, George Peterson, has been top three in any division that he pulled up in the last couple of years, won an Arnold Classic, and no media was covering him. No press was covering him. And you can say, yeah, well, he could do it himself, so on and so forth. But when you're like the best in the world at that level, and the media still won't cover you, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel very sad and sorry for him and his coach, Mr. Miller. I feel bad for them, and I'm sorry. Like, like my condolences, but like it's the name of the game, yo. And George was when I say he was shredded, that guy was shredded. Like, and I don't know how he died. It's too soon to talk about it, but just rest in peace, George Peterson. I'm not going to talk about it. But moving forward, um, Mr. GBP, my boy Dre Day says, some guy looked at me and asked for sauce and he wants to compete. And I told him, build your foundation, needs a lot of work. Boom. I would literally train at the same gym I'm training at right now. And I remember this vividly. I was doing cable crossovers and two guys came up to me. And they came up to me and they said, Matt. And I didn't know how they knew my name, but it's probably through social media because I didn't know these guys. But they're like, yo, Matt. And this is not in the change room. This was like on the gym floor. What steroids do you take? And should I take them too? How, like, what's the dosage? First of all, I stopped my set. I was actually kind of annoyed. I stopped my set because I don't like talking to people when I'm literally mid set. I looked at this guy, gave him a grill. I'm like, first of all, I don't know who the fuck you are. Second of all, I don't take steroids. Third of all, again, and not to be rude or anything, he was like he was obese. Like I don't know why he was talking about steroids in the first place. He had zero foundation. So it brought me to what you were saying there, Dre. And I'm like, dude, like, lose your fat first. Let's see what you've got under the fat. No offense. If you've got a nice structure, if you even have the genetics for bodybuilding, and then like talk to me about competing naturally because I don't take any PDs and I'm not a doctor, so I couldn't recommend you anything. It's like, oh man, there's no way. I'm like, there is a way. Like you're looking at me right now. But I stopped trying to convince people about me being natural and stuff like that because it's just wasting my time. Like, what do you want me to do? Pay for a piss test and like a full test and then show you because you're important to me? No, I don't give a fuck. Like you believe what you want to believe. It's fine, right? But I'm telling you the truth. Never taking PDs, probably never will. especially because all the guys that I look up to, they're like, "Yo, Matt, like, don't take it." Or they would just say, "If you're natural, stay natural." And if I'm doing this well, if I can be crowned a national champion at 20 years old naturally, I mean, I'll face it. There's no incentive for me to want to fucking like do that. Like, I don't feel like I need to do it to be the greatest that I can be. Maybe to reach my ultimate potential ever, yeah. But to be the greatest that I can be naturally, I don't need PEDs. That'd be like fucking hypocritical. That'd make no sense. Um, Rico says, bet. Yeah, so hit me up. I'll be looking in my DMs for that. Remain Humble 416 says, diuretics and insulin, top two killers in bodybuilding. Scary stuff. Not even the roids, I think. Yeah, you're pretty much on the mark there. Homie says, Sean says, first of all, it's good, Sean. I see you out here, bro. Says natural hormones are at the all-time in mid 20s to 30, all-time highest, he's saying. So it wouldn't it be better to take it in the 30s? I'm saying if you're going to do it, it would be way better because you're not interrupting any cycle. It's like these kids taking it in puberty. It's like you're fucking up your puberty by doing this, right? So like reach maturity, train for a good 10, 15 years, bust your ass. I'm not just saying go to the gym. I'm saying fucking like you're already taking some shit. Train your ass off. Push your limits for 10 years plus. Then maybe you'll get to a point where like, yeah, I don't need it. I don't want to compete and be a bodybuilder. Or maybe you want to be a bodybuilder and you might want to do it. Right. So reach maturity, reach a mature age, at least 30 plus, before you decide to even have that conversation with yourself. That's one thing that I'll tell you to do, right? Bianca says, me personally, I never took them. Even if my self esteem was at its absolute lowest, I don't think I'd ever want to take them again. To each their own, because not a lot of people do it for self esteem. Some people do it literally for the love of competition because that's required. That's like what you need, right? And it's in their mind. It's like, I'm not going to be better than anybody on the stage unless I take something that they're taking to give them not even an advantage, but to make it fair. But I know what you're saying, and that definitely just applied to a niche amount of people or a niche group of people who don't actually aspire to be like competitive, but just want to get jacked, right? So I know what you're saying, and I'm proud of you for having a confidence in yourself, enough confidence in yourself to not take something out of that, right? So yeah, no, I got you, Sean. Tatu says, "Man, I built myself over 321 pounds with no PEDs. Take your time, work hard, and it'll pay off." Exactly, right? So, Antonio, what's up? I see you, bro. Tatu says 321. What's the body fat percentage? You guys are having a conversation there, so I can't chime in on that. Bianca says, "I thought insulin just helped your body break down and metabolize sugars. I never thought it could be used as a steroid." This is what you said, right? Yes. So it's not that it's used as a steroid. Insulin still is insulin, and it still has the same function, but it helps further metabolize carbohydrates for these bodybuilders that are eating 1,000 grams plus of carbohydrates. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's for a good reason because it's not human. And to actually absorb and metabolize all of those or as many carbohydrates as possible, so that they can fill up their large amounts of muscle with a great amount of quantity of like glycogen, and then repeat the process. And there are many other benefits to it too. I wouldn't say benefits, but I would say features that supplementing with insulin can give you. All right. Bianca says, and if how does that work? So I just explained it to you. Homie says, you're not lying. If you don't eat to keep up with some PDs, you look shitter than you were natural and super flat. People think their stuff is fake, but in reality, they aren't eating to keep up. It's true, yo. I mean, look, I wouldn't even say just eating. If you're not training, if you're genuinely not like doing what you need to do as an athlete to, increase your odds of being successful, if you're not training hard, if you're not eating consistently, if you're not doing your cardio, no amount of PEDs in the fucking world under the sun over the grass will ever do anything for you. Ever. Like ever. Like, just take gummy vitamins and call it placebo because you'll get the same fucking like. It's not worth it. Don't do that. All right, Nas, what's good? I see you, dog. Shout out to my boy One Punch Nas. He's in the house. What's happening? What's happening? Drady says that rip still hits me. Mountain Dog. Yo, fuck. Like, I couldn't tell you how much I learned from that guy. May rest in peace, John Meadows. Tachi says, bro, I'm kind of worried about Nick Walker too. No lie, bro. My dogs were just having that conversation, man. Like me and my dogs were just having that conversation. Shout out to Alien Age. You know what's good. I don't even want to say it. Like I just the power of the tongue is real. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even want to like let that come out of my mouth because I love the success this guy's bringing. He's like a real showstopper, doing it his style, his way, and killing it. Like he is conquering shit. And I just want him to while he's here, yo, he's here and he's killing it. So like I'm gonna remember him in a positive light if anything happens, touch wood. But like you're right, man. It's sort of like a Dallas sort of vibe, but he's killing it, he's crushing it. He's doing this, he knows what he's doing, you know what I mean? Like these people know what they're putting on the line, you know. So it's not my it's nobody's responsibility to worry about what these mature adults are thinking about and doing. But you and I both thought we're on the same ship. Drede says, "Not everybody can be you," and I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I kind of think I know what you mean by that. You can elaborate later on, as we're on the live stream. We'll stick around for another 9 minutes to 7 p.m. EST today, because I really do enjoy the chat we're having today. I think it's really insightful, and that a lot of you guys and girls are getting some value. So Bianca says, in many ways, the best path is the road less taken. Yep, especially when it comes to stuff like this. By the way, how's your day today, Matt? She never fails to ask how my day is going. My day is going great. I had a killer fucking chest pump, and yeah, like, I'm here now, and probably just gonna have a couple protein shakes and a few meals and call it a day. You know, prep life. But my energy is a little bit better. So thanks for asking. I hope you had an amazing day. Let me know how your day's going, guys and girls, especially you, Bianca, because you always ask. Let's see here. Okay. Homie says the bigger you get, the smaller you feel. Bigorexia. Shout out. Natty or not, that's what happens. Tachi says true, true. You know it's good. Um, Homie also says your genetics are crazy, bro. And for being natural, that's crazy, bro. I fucking salute you and I appreciate you, man. But like, there's a lot of people that don't believe that I could be natural, or that people that are fucking ridiculously jacked and that work hard for it aren't natural, because those people are like amongst the 5 to 1% of people. Like, and I'm not trying to say this to compare myself to these people or to say that I'm on their level or anything like that. No insults, no shame. But like Ramon Hayes, you're welcome to Rome. Absolutely phenomenal athlete. Like as a natural, I saw him. I met him at my first show when I was competing. Fucking smoked the like everybody. It wasn't even funny. It wasn't even close, and he looked seriously scary. And to the point where it's like, yeah, I understand why people would think he's on PEDs because he looks that scary. But he was natural. He turned pro naturally. I was there to watch him turn pro, right? And Quinton Area, again, not comparing myself to these people, but as a natural athlete, Quinton was already like he already looked bigger than most people taking juice their whole entire lives, training their ass off and eating right, just because of genetics, and that's him naturally. Just can't explain it. Like it's just like that for some people. Like myself, at 20 years old, I won nationals naturally. Not everybody's the same. Like not everybody's built equal, right? So, and I'm gonna say that doesn't matter how many PEDs you take. Not everybody's built equal. All right. So Bianca says getting closer to finishing that book. I love that. I love that. And she says after that, I got another book of the myth and the legends waiting in the oven. That's I like that. You got to start, talking to me a little bit more about that. Homie says Rome is a beast. You're deaf on his level to me. Just off doing it natty, even though Rome is gonna do a big now. Exactly. But the thing is with Rome now is like he's reached maturity. He's reached an age where he's not really progressing that much naturally anymore, or at least that's what I think. I don't know. Um, but I do know like he's made the switch now, and he's like, you know, all eggs in one basket. He's going for it, and he definitely has the potential to kill and crush dreams in the IFBB as he is an IFBB pro now. And he's not like he's young as fuck, but he's not like a 20-year-old kid anymore, right? So he's almost in his 30s. He's like late 20s, almost in his 30s, if not just turned 30. So I mean, he's not interrupting puberty. He's not interrupting his test rise, peak, whatever you want to call it, that we all have in our youth as men. So there's no real, evolutionary risk in his or developmental risk that he's, really taking. In my perspective, again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not like some fucking like I'm just from what I can see, with my little experience in this field and knowing these people, right? Drede says Mali G placed fifth in an open physique show natty. Not everyone is, that league of has that league in genetics, and it's true. My G placed fifth, and yeah, it's true. I think it was like that. Not everybody has that. And that's not me saying this to like hurt you or like to discourage you or anything. It's just the way it is, you know? I'm gonna read some of the comments here on TikTok and then come back to Insta because I have a feeling, or I've been feeling like I was neglecting them. And Brittany, I see you. I'm gonna read your comment a little bit on YouTube there. Um, okay, there's a lot of nonsense here on TikTok, and I'm not gonna answer it. Um, uh, no, you shouldn't be concerned if you're 5'7". What? Um, you know what? Really? No, 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 no. I'm not reading that. They almost got me there. That was a close one. Uh, no, no. Oh my god. Hamza, I appreciate the follow. Jesus Christ. Some of you guys are like mental. Happy birthday to a good guy named Hayden. I appreciate you. Happy birthday, Hayden. Was he diabetic? No, he wasn't diabetic, but he was taking insulin. And yeah, that's pretty much it on TikTok because you guys are on one. But I do appreciate the 382 likes on TikTok, yo. You know it's good. And for YouTube, Brittany, she says, people are crazy. Shake my head. It's weird how people always assume steroids when they see someone isn't in shape. It's weird, but it's also, it's like a self-projection thing. They think it's never possible for themselves, so they project that onto other people and say like, "It's not possible for me, so there's no fucking way that you're doing it yourself." To each their own. Do your thing. Swim in your pool of negativity if that's what you want to do, right? So there's nothing for me to say there to that. But I do appreciate you always showing up and not being a sitting duck. I really do, Brittany. Thank you so much on YouTube. You know what's up. And if you don't have my YouTube, hit up my YouTube channel account, whatever you want to call it. Matt Butale, Mattbutale. Just search that in the YouTube search bar and you'll see me. You can subscribe, hit notifications button. As a matter of fact, I have a video that just dropped today talking about meal prep. Okay. What I usually do in my off season for meal prep. So check that out. That video just dropped today, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we got more content coming in the future. All right. She says support all day. You know what's up, Brittany. Nothing but love. Nothing but love at all. All right. So she says, well, these books are a little more detailed when it comes to true stories. How to pronounce? Oh, interesting. Okay. That being said, mythology isn't for everyone yet. So I guess I mean, like you and I personally, we can talk about it in like the DMs. Um, Remain humble. 416 says. Also, people will ask Ramon what he's taking and think he's lying because either he has good genetics or just has better work ethic than others. People will take 3 times as much, but wouldn't even look half as good. And I agree with you. And the same thing happens to me. Even I tell people I don't take anything, and they're like, "Matt, no way." Like, okay, I don't know what to tell you. Like, fuck off, whatever. Um, but yeah, it's true. Bianca says, "Who knows? Maybe I'll send you one for your birthday." Oh shit, that'd be dope because I need to catch up on reading a little bit more. I wouldn't even call it nonfiction because it's still historical and it's like a story being passed down. So I don't know what to call it, but yeah, I'd be down if you're down to do that. I'm down to do it, and then we can like review it. All right, you know what it is, guys and girls. Jermaine, I see you. Hannah, what's good? That's it. That's all. That brings us to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, actually, 6:59. And I really do appreciate each and every single one of you guys and girls for showing love today, asking questions. Just not being afraid to be a sitting duck, and reach out for knowledge for the betterment of yourself and probably someone else in your life. All right. So you know what it is. I'll be back again tomorrow with another live stream slash podcast. Again, we're still in the trial stages, and I will let you know when my podcast is fully launched, episodes are fully edited, and I have my name and all that good shit for the podcast. All right. So thank you guys and girls so much. We'll be back again in the future tomorrow. All right. Cheers. Later, Instagram. All right. We out here. Later, TikTok. Thank you for the likes. Facebook. We are out. And we're out there on YouTube. Peace.